Hello everyone and welcome to the Sacred Pathways. If this is your first time checking this channel out, we're blessed to have you here. My name is Terry and I narrate the stories of near-death experiences, past life memory, also known as pre-birth experience, to ancient history, mysterious spiritual encounters all around the world, in the hopes of bringing inspirations and understanding of spiritual life beyond this. Our videos offers a glimpse of what lies beyond. And it offers a gift of knowledge to knowing there is more than just this life and we live on spiritually. If you enjoy these videos, please consider clicking the like, subscribe and bell icon to be notified of new content. Doing so is free and it does help the channel grow. We are very appreciative of all your support. If you would like to reach out and share your experience, we welcome the pleasure to do so. You may email us at thesacredpathways@gmail.com. To my return viewers, relax, get cozy and enjoy today's narration. We're very excited to have you all here. What comes to mind when you think of ancient civilizations? You might think of the Romans. Maybe Maya pops into your head. Perhaps you think of the Aboriginal people of Australia. Today's wonder of the day is another great ancient civilization, the Sumerians. Situated in Mesopotamia, ancient Sumer was a collection of city-states. The Sumerians had advanced militaries, mathematics, and writing. And many of their writings tell modern people about Sumerian culture. The Sumerian civilization existed from 4100 BCE until around 1750 BCE. The name, Sumer, meant land of the civilized kings. The Sumerians were one of the first groups to divide time into hours and minutes. They also had a complex religion that involved gods called the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were believed to be in charge of Sumerians' fates. Many myths involved members of the Anunnaki passing judgment on humans. Additionally, the gods were described as children of the earth and sky. Most people chalk these stories up to mythology, the same way they do the Greek gods. However, others wonder whether there's more to the story. Some researchers believe the Anunnaki may have been actual beings. One popular theory is that they came to Earth from another planet. Some believe they came from the mysterious planet X, which they say passed close to Earth thousands of years ago. Why would aliens come to Earth and pose as gods? To enslave the human race, of course. Believers of this theory say the Anunnaki forced Sumerians to mine gold for them. Then, when they had what they needed, the Anunnaki returned to planet X. As far as ancient researchers and theologists are concerned, evidence that there were ancient Sumerian kings. In Khorsabad, Iraq on March 23, 1843. While excavating for archaeological findings and treasures, a well-known scientist by the name of Palmil Bata came upon the remains of a large Assyrian palace, and found a great amount of cuneiform inscriptions. When translated the inscriptions, it is believed to be the world's oldest civilization and a group of powerful beings called the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, as told by theologists, is a term of the gods used by the ancient Sumerians, but the original form of it simply means the sky people, those that were connected with the stars. The Anunnaki were seen to be the givers of civilization to mortal kind. And they are described as having the shining eyes and having a powerful auroras and radiance of otherworldly feeling about them. Based on 30 years of studying the Sumerian cuneiform tablets, in 1976, author and researcher Zecharia Sitchin published a book called The 12th Planet, in which he proposed that the Sumerian gods were, in fact, refugees from another world. According to Sitchin's interpretation of the tablets, these alien visitors, the Anunnaki, created humankind. It appears gods came down and literally started a colonization project here on Earth, creating us in their image and after their likeness. It also might stand to reason, then, that they've infused us with the desire to spread this colonization project beyond Earth. I think if you look at what we've been doing in our space program, it's a blueprint of what happened here a long time ago with extraterrestrials. But I think we're on the same path. We're beginning to understand that the Anunnaki gods, that were actually ETs could still be out throughout the universe that could now, as we are starting to head out into space, be encountering the prime intelligence that originally had civilization on Arath and were working throughout this solar system. Okay, let's break it down a bit. Have you ever asked yourself these questions when trying to understand all of this? Why does God refer to himself in the plural in Genesis 1 verse 26 and 3:22? Genesis 1 verse 26 says, "Then God said, Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." Genesis 3 verse 22 states, "And the Lord God said, The man has now become like one of us." There are other passages in the Old Testament in which God refers to himself using plural constructions. It is also interesting to note that Elohim, one of the primary titles of God in the Old Testament, occurring over 2,500 times, is in the plural form. Anunnaki, also called Anunna, class of gods within the ancient Mesopotamian pantheon. The precise meaning of the term, princely seed, in Sumerian, remains ill-defined, as the number of these gods, their names, and their functions vary according to the limited historical text scholars have recovered. Among the gods named in some texts as members of the Anunnaki are Enlil, Enki, Ninhursag, Sin-Nana, Shamash-Utu, and Ishtar, Inanna. Enlil, the god of air who separated heaven and earth, is generally regarded as the most prominent of these. Today we dive a little deeper into the Sumerian/Emerald tablet. Well, I believe the supreme god is Anu. He was not the first one here, but he was considered to be the head or the Lord God. He was over the main gods that came to this planet. His name was Anu, hence the name that humans gave them, the Anunnaki. Okay, Anu they still gave credit for the head father. He mostly ruled from the space or the sky, or what we think of as heaven. As the ancient texts say, Anu had sons. Okay, his sons were Enki and Enlil. These two play a big part of history and a lot of information. These three are considered the gods, the deities, and were defined as peoples of the earth. They masqueraded as gods, except for Enki. He had a certain kind of sympathy and empathy for human beings. It was said he even married and had a baby by the name of Zazudra, who is actually Noah in the modern-day Bible. This relates to the story of Gilgamesh. However, these people were not gods, they were flesh. They were not dimensional people. These were people that walked around like we do, but they were knowledgeable and had technology. They had wisdom. The Gilgamesh people, not to get confused with Enki and Enlil with Anu, they are Anunnaki. But Gilgamesh's crew were flesh, but smart. They were so advanced that they were smart about genetics, chemistry, quantum physics, quantum mechanics. They understood aviation, through the stars and how the planets lined up. Which the star maps were left behind by the Sumerian tablets that explained that. Probably in the 5-mile-long underground Vatican, as they like to hide everything. But anyway, so this is information left behind, not coming from Terry's brain, lol. This was left behind to show us what was left behind. Enlil was given the control to control Earth. Even though it is stated that the Earth was named after Enki. His name is Ea-Ki. Ki means earth in ancient times. Ia was the beginning of his name, so over time it became Earthea for the beginning of honoring Enki, Ki turning it into earth. Just so you know how Earth is named after Enki, if you go back into the tablets you discover this. It's unclear why Enlil was given the power over Earth. Enki was a scientist, astrophysicist, a geneticist. Enlil was more of a battle king ruler, also an engineer and architect. Enlil created this place called Eden in Mesopotamia. But it was spelled Eden. It was an outdoor laboratory that was gated with huge guards, armed guards surrounding it, and shows evidence of this in the Apocrypha text. So if you read the Book of Adam, you discover that there were armed guards at the gate. You know, a lot of this proof is hidden in the Vatican, just saying. It was hidden from us for their narrative. Those armed guards prevented you from leaving or from coming in. But another thing they say they kept it out of the Bible was because it was too brutal. I guess we couldn't handle it, but anyway, Eden is being created, so what they're doing is working with creating humanity, so that is why it was so strict with guards. They started with cloning the existing hominid on this planet as they were already here, and using his cloning technique, it would create a worker, but the worker would die rapidly or reproduce. The splicing technique was not able to reproduce, and it was a lot of work to keep creating more and more of these offsprings, the manual way, so they came up with an idea. Their sister said actually would agree to take the baby to full term herself. This was Enki and Enlil's sister. She took one of the hominids from the captured people that were in Eden, or what they call it Eden back then. Right in the laboratory she took an egg out of the woman and added the essence to it, which means they probably genetically modified it, added some DNA to it or whatever they did. She made zygote, inserted it into her womb during her menses, and then took the baby to full term, 10 months according to the ancient text, and then Adam was born, the first modified to perfection Homo sapien. Here is wherein it gets confusing for people is this part. It's stated that people were already here. This would be more like the cavemen. They weren't right, they didn't work, or have the capability that was needed by our gods. They needed humans to obey, to take command and level the workload that needed to be done on Earth. Especially reproduce as Adam, the newly modified version, to carry on as our race today. That was important to them for the creation of us. The Garden of Eden situation. How do we get Eve? They figure out that Adam was mating with these other splices, and they were not reproducing, so they had to put him to sleep, took some DNA out of his bone and created a clone of him, and they mated the two, and she was able to get pregnant. However, they were in the Garden of Eden, which is an outdoor laboratory. They say they had mating session like a herd of cattle coming and going, and it was timed, ugh. So they're in the garden talking with the serpent, and you have to remember back. In the ancient times represented wisdom, understanding, knowledge. It had nothing to do with evil. Anywhere you see a serpent it depicted in ancient text, tablet, cylinder scrolls, papyruses, etc. It's about wisdom and understanding. See, the two intertwined snakes makes the caduceus. Like the medical industry, it has to do with wisdom, knowledge and understanding. So it's stated that the snake that actually came into the garden was Enlil's brother Enki. He felt bad for the humans. He wanted to talk to Adam and Eve and let them know that they were as equal as they were. Nothing less than them is what was written, that they had the same consciousness, have the same capability of ascending to higher consciousness and understanding, and they were just not animals, and whom themselves that ruled over them were not even gods, and what that did was cause a firestorm in their brain. So when Enlil came back, obviously does not know this happened, which is interesting because I will jot down some quotes. But when he comes back he realizes something has changed with Adam and Eve. After Enlil realizes they have the same capability as them, they can make their own decision, wear clothes, have opinions. They were not just made to feel like animals in that so-called laboratory, so he gets pissed off. He gets pissed off at Enki for giving them this knowledge, so Enlil feel betrayed as this was his brother and broke the rule or Enlil's rule. So Enlil kicks Adam and Eve out of the garden. So if they stay in the lab they're conspicuous, will infect the other people, and Enlil did not want that. One of the sons of Enki, who ended up very very evil, like his uncle Enlil, his name is Amenra. So you have Enlil, Enki, Anu, Anunnaki. These are the three that are being called God in the modern day Bible. Most of their quotes from the Sumerian tablets and emerald tablets made its way into the colonized Bible, leaving a fingerprint behind saying, hey, that's them. That's the creator of the universe. People will say Christ is king, we're all Christ, and until you understand that, you're going nowhere. Christians believes these attributes of God, which I believe exists, but not by the people in the Bible. I do believe in a creator, because you have the quantum physics and the quantum mechanics, proves we are living in a creation, going lay some attributes down, as this says the attributes are the gods of the Bible, gods plural, God is infinite. This is from BibleStudyTools.com, and they're backing it up with biblical verses, but it also contradicts itself. God is infinite. God is self-existing without origin. Colossians 1 verse 17, and he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. God is immutable, he never changes. For the ancient tablets that were written over or around 36,000 years ago, before Adam and Eve. I read books on the translations and how it was made out. The gods as it was written, not my words. When they created it took a few times to get it right so that we could multiply. Anunnaki, apes were already here. They took from there the gods' DNA and mixed them, but they finally got it right, and then there was the garden. According to the ancient text, came from heaven to earth, and in the Egyptian culture, they call them the Naturu, and they said they came to earth, and turned mud into a kingdom. In the Bible, they call them the Enoch. They have these names in all different cultures. They all show up around the same time in every culture. And I started going, I never started finding more instances of them in every culture. I looked into around the same time period, and I go, these people really came here at some point in the distant past. It seems to be now, around 450,000 years ago, they arrived. And about 200,000 years ago, according to the text, not me, so around 200,000 years ago, these beings in creating this mating farm, this mating laboratory, is called Eden. Enlil was known as the Lord. He was known as Satan. The Lord of Eden, Satan. No wonder where that came from. Yeah, he's Satan. The snake that was in the garden was his brother Enki. And that information is in the myth of Adapa, which is another incredible ancient text. I will be doing another video on that later. Enki only plays the part of Satan in the Garden of Eden, while Enlil played the part of God. Adamu and Tiamat, being the first man and woman, birthed by Anunnaki of royal blood, were spared from slaving in the mines. They were sent to the Eden to live a carefree life. Enki took Adamu and Tiamat back to the lab to give them an upgrade. The ability to procreate. This is the original sin they talk about in the Garden of Eden story. When Enlil discovered this, he was enraged that Enki ruined his naked ignorant pets. Enlil banished them from the Eden to work the mines in the apsu, where they could proliferate with the rest of the animals. Enlil found the entire human race distasteful. The rest of the Bible stories portray God as either Enki or Enlil. Enki conceived the idea to create man as a slave race to work the gold mines. Enki was the co-creator of mankind. Enki had children with human women. Enlil plays all the parts of the angry god who wants to destroy and punish mankind's wickedness, while Enki is all the parts of the merciful god who saves mankind from the flood. Against Enlil's orders that all of mankind must perish. The Bible is a fabrication designed to subjugate, dumb down, and control the masses. If you look at the way the Bible was put together, you'll notice it is made of short quotes taken out of context from multiple ancient texts, then rearranged and pieced together, between parts of pure narrative not from any ancient text. This is how they twisted the truth into complete fiction, full of irrational backward teachings. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like, subscribe and the bell icon, as it does help the channel grow, and all your support is very much appreciated. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day from the Sacred Pathways family.